Hi, I'm Emily.
I'm Nathan.
I'm Sebastian.
I'm Jake.
And our topic is food in Marin and how the available food affects the diets of people in Marin.
My snapshot was about my trip to Penang, Malaysia, and all the different kinds of foods from all over the world that I had there. Like, even though it's a Southeast Asian country, there were some foods from like China and from India, because there's a huge mix of cultures. And we lack that here in Marin. There's just a few types of food in a few different kind of styles, and you're stuck in a bubble. You don't experience all the amazing cuisines that the world has to offer.
The few types of food that we do get to experience in Marin are American food, such as like hamburgers and French fries and those kinds of things. Mexican food, like enchiladas and things like that. And then we get some Chinese and Asian food, and there's very few Indian restaurants in Marin.
Yeah, I think also that a lot of the cultural food that we have from, like, quote unquote, from other countries is all food that's sort of Americanized, and it's not very authentic. Like, I've gone to a lot of Mexican restaurants, and being from Hispanic background, I know what like really good Mexican food tastes like, and a lot of like the Mexican food restaurants are very not authentic with foods that aren't necessarily served in that country.
Also, all the restaurants here are kind of boring. There's nothing really interesting that would draw people in. Like, I remember when I lived in New York, we went to this place by the beach, and I can't remember what kind of food it was, but there were like belly dancers that danced when your food came. So there's not really any flashy places like that here in Marin. It's all kind of boring, regular places.
I think a big factor to this is that it's a lot more expensive to live in Marin than other parts of the Bay Area. And so, like, first-generation immigrants usually don't have as much money, so they probably couldn't live here and start a real, authentic restaurant.
Yep.
Also, there might be places like Three Twins Ice Cream, where it's supposed to be junk food that your parents don't want you to eat, or food that's bad for you, but even here in Marin they try to make it super healthy, which I think is kind of weird because it's food that's usually not that good for you, and food that has a lot of sugar in it. It's supposed to be different from other foods, and when they put the same ingredients that they put something healthy, it kind of defeats the purpose of eating junk food.
And sometimes, like, people say things are healthy, like that ice cream, but it's probably not very much healthier than just normal ice cream. But they can charge like twice as much for it, probably.
I had gotten tired of drinking fat-free and non-organic milk, and how that totally rocketed my family into buying all organic food and as much things that there are organic in stores is what we try to buy. I also think there is a large stereotype in Marin that everyone is rich, and since we're rich we can afford to buy all organic food and eat all organic food. And so I think that as my family started buying more organic food, it definitely made us fit more in with the stereotype, and that it made us healthier and more able to do things that we weren't able to do when we were eating junk food all the time.
Do you think it's had a positive or a negative impact on your health overall?
Very positive.
That's good. But also, like, there is still, even though people think that Marin is all rich, there are still lots of people that can't afford to eat organic all the time. So I wonder if everywhere the stores are organic, it keeps people from being able to get affordable food.
Well, that was one of the reasons that my family wasn't able to eat organic food is because we live in a little more of an expensive house, so we weren't able to afford the food that we wished we could. And then we moved into a house that better fit us, and we're soon able to afford healthier organic food that helped us out a lot overall.
Yeah, I think Marin sort of has a responsibility to provide for people who can't afford to have the more expensive food that some people eat.
And I think it's interesting to think about whether people have started eating organic because it's healthier for them, or if it was more because it was a trend and they wanted to be with the trend. And I think that eating organic definitely is healthier, but I also think that people probably started doing it because they wanted to fit in and be like what everyone else was doing, and eating organic is definitely like something that is very quote unquote in fashion right now.
Yeah, like what you just said, people who eat organic foods probably want to show off to the people who maybe don't and say I'm better than you because I eat more healthy, because they probably have big egos, you know.
Yeah, and do you think like this is a short-term fad, or it's gonna continue for a long time in Marin and places that can afford it?
It's going to continue, I think.
I would agree.
Yeah, I think that now that people have realized that it's actually really good for them eating organic, I think it's definitely going to keep on being a good thing for a while.
And I think that some people think that just because something is organic, it's healthy, because organic foods make a lot of foods healthier, but it doesn't make a soda healthy or something like that. It's still soda and it's still really bad for you.
And I just think that it's going to last a long time because people are now starting to realize how beneficial it is for your health and your well-being to eat organic food, that it's going to last long because it helps people out.
As I bit into what looked like an Oreo, I was completely disappointed. What entered my mouth was not the perfectly balanced chocolate to icing ratio cookie that gets stuck in your teeth for hours. It was not the best cookie in the world that could be made better only with milk, but something else entirely. It was some food that resembled an Oreo, but tasted like a combination of cardboard and Splenda. Of course, now that I had taken a bite, there was no turning back. I had to finish. The struggle of pretending to enjoy this bland cookie was unsuccessful. I'm sure that my acting skills were subpar, and my half smile doing no good concealing my dismay. This was my snapshot about finding out that my friend's family ate only organic and healthy, and that every time she wanted to buy something, her mom had to turn it over and look at all the nutrition facts. And that was back in 3rd grade, and I was completely oblivious that any parents did that, because my parents never did anything like that. And it was when I first experienced people in Marin buying things only organic or only like a certain grams of sugar in them. And after a while, like, a lot of my friends were doing that, so my parents started buying organic, and we never fully started buying only organic. But now I can't remember the last time that we bought fruit, for example, that was non-organic.
Yeah.
What event or series of events do you think kind of jump-started your family from eating non-organic food to eating organic food?
Well, I mean, like in stores, because like a lot of people were buying only organic, they started selling only organic and like very little non-organic food. And I think that that's partly why we started buying organic, and partly because everybody else was doing it. We didn't really want to be the only family that was still eating non-organic food.
I think people in Marin and other rich places like Los Angeles are often obsessed with their body image, and by eating organic and checking the nutrition facts for everything, they can try to make sure that they have the perfect body or whatever.